How we doing? I have an interesting question from a reader and friend named Tara. She wanted me to do a post, and this will be a little more unusual. Somewhat, I'm deviating from the more scientific approach that I use, but you could argue I really use an empiric approach. If somebody wants to know the difference, I can talk about that. But anyway, the question was, can I do a post that has to do with the relationship of showing gratitude and one's health? So you can research this. You can Google search it, and you'll see some relationships, but they're kind of fluffy. You see, it's Mayo Clinic, Harvard, Baylor even has a school of social work devoted to this topic. So first, I posted a scientific abstract because back in 2013 they were actually doing a study examining whether dispositional gratitude predicts physical health among adults, and if so, whether this relationship occurs because grateful individuals lead healthier lives either psychologically or physically. I think common sense and empirically, we all know that grateful individuals, people like that, who they are in your lives. They're not the negative Nellies. Sorry, there must be a negative term for men too, but we'll go with the negative Nelly because I can't think of one right now. So, the negative Nellies are going to get more health concerns. And then in men, you could argue they used to do studies, type A personalities having far more cardiovascular events over time. And you got to figure they're type A, driven, success-oriented. Sometimes the word greed goes hand in hand. They're not typically the gratitude imbued patients. All right, that's a whole bunch of crazy, wonky terminology, but let me get to answering this question. In order for me to answer this question well, I had to harken back to a pivotal and important book I read many years ago. This book influenced me forever. I can go and provide a timeline of how I've been influenced, but these 2 pages I'm about to present to you have a lot to do with the answers to this question. And there are actual studies. The book is The Intention Experiment, Using Your Thoughts to Change Your Life and World by Lynne McTaggart. You can find it. I might have spelled her name wrong. You can find it easily on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. So she was researching big-time healers. We're talking, in the second page, you'll see people that have to do with Dalai Lama and things like that. But she interviewed them and studied them. She noticed they entered a focused state through a variety of means: meditation, prayer, intense attention on the person to be healed. I'm going to substitute aspects of gratitude and prayer and meditation. I'm going to use those terms equally. I'm going to interoperate those terms. I'm going to interweave them. They don't mean the same thing, but sometimes they do. If you will grant me that one bit of poetic license, then I think that my answer will make sense to you. Because I believe, sure, you could just wake up every day and say thank you 10 times, and maybe you're doing something, but I'm going to get a little more detailed on intention. So, a lot of people, a shamanic healer said they could gently hum or chant or use a rattle, and then others will need to work hard to achieve a transformation. I know people that are effective at things like Reiki. I've known some surgeons who could find blood vessels others couldn't, and I often wondered, were they using a form of Reiki? But that's a whole other point. Others will use the patient in order to heal them as an object of meditation. You can see many healers experience a heightening of their cognitive processes. Miss McTaggart was especially interested in the effect of intense concentration on the activity of the brain. And I know a lot about this exercise in meditation. I have taught meditation to many of my patients, and I know a lot about this concept of alpha rhythms. And I can talk about that in the future. So next page, also from the same book. So they went further, and there you have Richard Davidson. He is a neuroscientist at the University of Wisconsin's laboratory. So we're getting some scientific data. He was an expert in affective processing, the place where the brain processes emotion and the resulting communication between the brain and body. So that's what gratitude would do. It would result in a connection between the emotion and the body. So 1992, Dalai Lama is a science buff, which is cool. They're blending science and what other people would call New Age. They took 8 of his most seasoned practitioners. I found this incredibly interesting, and that's why I want to share it with you, and that's why I love the questions you guys give me, because it makes me go through things I've read and bring them to your attention. So awesome. Keep the questions coming. So they flew these monks to Wisconsin, and then they used a control group and compared the EEGs. The control group was a group of undergrads who had never practiced meditation. Yeah, I used to walk around and sign up for these studies at the University of Virginia. So they had a bunch of blokes like me. They gave them a week's training and attached the same EEG sensors to these students as the monks were having done to them. This is where it gets interesting. After 15 seconds under the EEG, the monks' brains never slowed down their activity. They were speeding up. They had bursts of high gamma band activity, rapid cycles, not the slow alpha of 6 to 12 hertz, but 25 to 70, super high bursts. Honestly, as they write here, they had never seen anything like this. Let me move this window over. So these monks had permanently altered their brains by years of intensive meditation. They had high rates of gamma band activity. So this preliminary research suggests advanced and highly focused forms of meditation produce a brain operating at peak intensity. Similar types of effects have been recorded during prayer. So I'm coming back to the whole business of, yes, how gratitude can affect health, but I don't know how to answer the question, how intensely do you have to practice the gratitude? But yes, the answer is a clear yes. A study monitoring the brainwaves of 6 Protestants during prayer found an increase in brainwave speed during moments of the most intense concentration. So, back to gratitude, the monks concentrated on a sense of compassion for all living things. Compassion for everything is a form of gratitude, clearly. So ultimately, they realized these monks had been performing meditation. They had the highest gamma activity ever. The heightened state produced a permanent emotional improvement. And this portion is most associated with joy and gratitude. I think that's in some rap songs like Rob Bass, Pump It Up, Joy, Pump It Up, and Rain. These monks had conditioned their brains to tune into happiness most of the time. So there's your answer. I'd say it's undeniable. Do I have thousands of research presentations? I don't think I need them. So I'll end with that.